Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's live stream AMA. So I think I'm having some audio problems. Can you guys hear me? Tell me in the comments if you can hear me, because I couldn't actually hear the intro video playing, which means I'm probably not going to be able to hear Luke when I bring him up. But hopefully you guys can at least hear me, and then I'll go figure out that problem. Okay, cool. All right, there's so much I need to tell you guys today. I'm going to leak a whole bunch of stuff on a massive update that's coming up. And then if you guys are subscribed to our Substack, the Pixels Post, you probably already know another fun announcement just went out with a giveaway, a massive giveaway attached to it. So I'm going to go through all of that kind of stuff. Someone's saying, oh, of course, you're such a troll. Like, don't troll me, because I immediately, there's been like a dozen people saying they can hear me, and then one makes me second guess it. All right. Without further ado, let's bring up Luke and let's see if I can hear him.
All right. Hey, everybody.
I can hear you. Okay, we're good.
Amazing. Okay.
We're good.
Yeah. So I'm excited for this AMA. We have a few things that we're going to go over. I think Heidi has some things that she wants to share, big updates in Core Pixels, and, you know, some fun things to kind of show and sneak peek there. We also will do like some high level updates on company direction and like the things we're working on. I'm so excited for the next month because finally, you know, ideally in the next month, you're going to start to see a lot of the things that we're shipping starting to finally come out. So yeah, we'll kind of go over that in the AMA after Heidi goes through some of the initial things that she wants to go over. But expect like kind of an update on progress and maybe some updates on timelines and some lessons that we've learned and some new things that we're working on. I know Web3 gaming doesn't look, you know, so bright right now, but honestly, I'm very excited about what we're working on, like this next chapter for Web3 gaming. The reality is, I think we've gone through several phases of like market corrections and kind of wipeouts of companies, right? And really, Web3 gaming is still trying to find the product market fit that it needs to find. A lot of the promises that we initially had thought about, when I say we, I mean like, you know, us who are interested in Web3 gaming as an industry, had thought about that Web3 gaming would be. Turns out, like, you know, it didn't really work the way that we wanted it to, or like the value prop of certain Web3 components, you know, just didn't really come to fruition in the way that we all had wanted. But there's still a lot of promise with Web3. Eventually, you know, I've been working a lot on some thought pieces. We'll probably publish some, you know, just general thought on where we think Web3 gaming is at right now. Maybe I can even go through it if you guys are interested. You know, I've done some personal writing that I might publish soon on just kind of like different, you know, value props that Web3 was promised in, you know, 2021. The state of that, like why things maybe didn't work out the way that we wanted it to, and, you know, what to do about all of that as well. There's definitely some rabbit holes that we could dig into there. Like all this thought is kind of informing the next decisions that we make at Pixels. I still have a huge belief in Web3 gaming in general and play to earn in general. I have a big belief in tokens as an interesting mechanism to give community ownership over protocols ecosystem and the stuff that they're, you know, interested in. There's just a few tweaks that we'll need to make to actually, you know, bring in the next vision of what we have for, you know, Pixel when it comes to the token, when it comes to, you know, staking and how we're managing that, when it comes to new games that we're making, when it comes to the core game that we have now. So we'll dive into a little bit of that if you guys have questions, and we can kind of like, you know, keep explaining the thought process and give you guys like a general update on progress and timelines and what you can expect next. But in the meantime, Heidi, why don't you take it away?
Okay, I'm actually not going to start with this one. Yeah, two big things to go through today. So who here is subscribed to the Pixels Post? Comments are delayed, so it kind of sucks. I wish I could just see like everyone raise their hands like a normal audience. Anyways, I guilt trip you guys all the time. Go and subscribe to the Pixels Post, because that's where we post all of our updates about everything. And even as we like expand into all these other things, I can see it, you know, we'll post on there as well. So it's your number one source for Pixel stuff. There we go. We got a bunch of me's in the comments. Love it. Love it. Okay. So then you guys already know that I think like 20 minutes ago now, we officially announced the launch of Pixel's official TikTok and Instagram accounts. Now, for our OGs, you guys know that we've had these account handles for years, and they've just been sitting there stale for a really long time. So we are so excited to officially be posting content on there regularly. So let me quickly share my screen here so that we can dive into the announcement just a little bit deeper. You guys can get all the information you need. So we are officially on TikTok and Instagram, posting just a bunch of fun types of content. I really don't want to just niche down and only post one type of thing. Like, we want to keep this as broad as honestly Pixels is. So thus far we've been posting a lot of game content. We're going to post like probably clips here and there. I think there's actually no way. There was, I think, the first clip from an AMA posted, and it was of us yapping about getting older in our AMA last week. It was pretty funny, edited. I didn't make that one, guys. Okay, someone on my team made that one, but they did ask for a picture of Luke from 4 years ago as proof, so you can see what Luke looked like 4 years ago. Anyways, we're just gonna post like a bunch of different types of content, including content creator content. We've obviously with permission, and we will give attribution and whatever links to their accounts and tag them and whatnot. But our content creators post such amazing video stuff, so we just like want to have a place to celebrate all together on other platforms beyond just basically Twitter, and then of course Discord. So big giveaway. We're going to give away a bunch of different stuff: pets, integrated avatars, VIP coupons. So all you have to do is follow these steps here. It's probably best to just go straight to Pixels post and click on these links, so you go right to the account posts to enter to win. My phone has been blowing up, guys. All of my notifications have been from people following or following us on Instagram. I think I have TikTok turned off. I should probably turn off Instagram at this point. But yeah, thank you all for who have already followed, and it's gonna be really fun over there. So let's try and build another community over there. It'd be really good. So I actually pulled them up. I forgot. So here's TikTok. And we got 6 videos up. Let's go. We're posting most days. I'm not gonna say every day because that's pressure. And then here's our Instagram. Okay, that is.
Can I color that a little bit? So
go off.
Yeah, I think this is one of the initiatives that we'll be taking in 2026 essentially, and kind of like some of the higher level strategy, where basically, I think what we understand in crypto now is we need to start having our ecosystem, our games, our messaging, our branding appeal to a Web2 audience as well. And that also means the type of content that we post, the way that we message things to Web2 users, and also the growth channels that we're going to be targeting as well. So one of the things that we see as a really big risk now is only marketing towards crypto Twitter. I think if you're trying to build an initial audience of your true fans, obviously if you're building a crypto game and a Web3 game, then crypto Twitter is a really good place to start, right? And if I was recommending advice to a Web3 game starting out, I would still probably say find your really core audience of believers who love the product, who love what you're building, who love the vision. And Pixels is so blessed because we have that. You guys show up to these AMAs, you guys, listen to the direction. You guys are Web3 enthusiasts at the end of the day, which is amazing, right? We're so blessed and lucky to have a community like this. Now what we need to do is we need to expand the community beyond people who just are, Web3 enthusiasts and believers in, the mission. And we need to get that mission out to other people, right? So we're going to start implementing more Web2 tactics with growth and with our strategy and everything moving forward, essentially. So expect some experiments from us, just on core Pixels accounts and everything else that we're doing with content that is directed towards normies more so, because we have onboarded a lot of people into Web3 gaming just through Pixels, right? How can we keep doing that, and how can we make the experience even friendlier to a Web2 audience? And how do we make it so that the crypto stigma kind of disappears from the ecosystem? The reality is right now, you guys all know this when you start to talk about crypto with people in your life who are not as friendly to crypto, is there's a really negative stigma associated with it, right? And this is for a lot of different reasons, right? One, there were just genuinely a lot of scams inside of crypto. A lot of games never even released a game. A lot of projects that were intending to release a game, right? A lot of games are now shut down, not due to scams per se. In a lot of the cases, like, there are a lot of good faith teams that just weren't able to keep the fight going. The funding isn't there in the same way. The energy and excitement and like launching something new just isn't there where it was in 2021, right? But then the other reality too is like a lot of people have been burned by crypto too. Like a lot of things with meme coins, politics even, it's kind of crazy, right? So how do we actually create an ecosystem that can appeal to these users? One, we have to meet them where they're at. Normal users, if we're being honest, like there are some on Twitter, but really they're not on Twitter. They're on TikTok, they're on YouTube Shorts, they're on Instagram, right? And we need growth strategies that reflect that. So yeah, expect us to be pushing a lot more towards that, even changing the format of the kind of content that we're creating in order to appeal to a Web2 user base, right? For example, like you Web3 enthusiasts, you guys like these AMAs in this format, right? But like honestly, if we're showing clips of me talking about Web3 gaming and the strategy and the mastermind and all this kind of stuff behind it, it's not really going to be appealing to a Web2 audience, right? So how do we get normal people more interested in the content, the actual games, and the ecosystem of Pixels? This is what we're working on next. And what's cool is this also relates to Stacked. Stacked, we're going to have like a whole UGC platform inside of Stacked as well, where we'll actually reward you for content that you create on platforms like TikTok. I think TikTok's the first platform that we're integrating, where if you create, TikToks that go viral, you'll start getting rewards, right? So yeah, that's kind of like part of the strategy here, and like kind of where we're going to direct a lot of future focus. So just wanted to color that, and then you can go and continue, Heidi.
No, totally. And I brought up this post specifically. This was the first video we posted, which is just basically being chaotic about the cookie hunt. But Pixels is such an appealing game visually, which all of you guys already know that, right? But it's just telling when like the first comment we got literally on TikTok was, "What game is this?" Because it's like, it's really cool, right? Okay. All right. So that is the first thing I want to talk to you guys about. The second one, so I post, okay. Hold, let me, as Luke said, let me color this a bit. So I knew I was going to talk we have a massive update coming. Okay. I think it's coming on Monday or Tuesday next week. And it's part of this like gigantic update. This is like one of the pieces, but this one specifically is going to be particularly enormous. And I knew I was going to talk about it today. And internally, we have been freaking out over the art. The art is so good and so cute because they are animals. And I was so excited a couple hours ago. I was like, I'm so excited. I'm going to leak the pink sheep because the sheep are so damn adorable. And then it's pink. So like, I'm going to leak the pink sheep, right? So I posted on, hold on, let me show you what I posted. I posted on Twitter, like, should I leak something? Like I'm obviously trying to be annoying, but with the little pink sheep, and like half the comments were like, we don't need more Pixels pets. I was like, no, it's not. I actually clarified in a sub comment here. I was like, everyone thinking it's a pet. It's not. Like, this is not a pet, guys. This is animal care. This is the update you've been waiting for, and I'm gonna leak a bunch of stuff about it. This is what I posted on our internal Slack, which is maybe what I should have just posted publicly, because what is that?
That's crazy.
So next time, well, there won't be a next time, but I should have just leaked that because I think that one is very clearly not a Pixels pet. I wouldn't even call that cute. I think it's ridiculous.
I love it.
So it's so funny. When I first saw it, that was actually my reaction. Like, what the hell is this, guys? Okay. So what I will do is, so I actually wrote a ton of like notes for this specifically by hand because my ADHD brain cannot just like it. That's how big this update is basically. So what I'm going to do is I'm probably just going to blab a bunch and you got to take notes because I don't have this. This is the format I have this information in. I don't have it on a pretty deck. I don't have it laid out in a nice way for you guys. I'm just going to yap, and hopefully you guys get some of these leaks. I will share a couple more like images of the animals at the end, but I'm just going to yap, and I'm so sorry that I am too chaotic to have presented this in a more digestible fashion. Okay, cool. So this is going to be a massive, massive animal care update. So animals in general in Pixels. There are existing animals, and obviously those are the cows, turkeys, sheep, slugs, chickens, and bees. And we also have 4 new types of pets or animals coming, and that is pigs, goats, ducks, and dragons. Current animals in game are going to be called legacy, and legacy pets are permanent. So the other ones eventually mature and move on to their forever homes. Legacy ones, the existing ones, do not. They are permanent. They will have updated drops, and they drop offspring. So how this works, actually, before I dive in, I will say there will be a forever limited count of legacy pets in game. I believe it's 300 per type. Now you're saying, whoa, there's only like 10 in game right now. We're not just going to drop 300. That's not how this works. But over time, there might be more dropped here and there of the legacy pets. But for now, it's just what it is in game. Nothing is changing. And those legacy animals are how you get offspring eggs. Okay. Step 1, you go to your legacy animal on Chuck's land, and you get your legacy offspring egg. Or sorry, you get your offspring egg. Okay. And then you've got to go to the pet store and pick up a incubator. With the incubator, you use, I've never said this word out loud, incutive. I'm going to call them incutive. Incutive potions. Incutive, I guess, because it's like incubative, incubate, incutive. I guess that's where the word probably comes from. Potions. And you need 5 of them to hatch your offspring egg. Okay. And this determines the traits. So from there, you hatch your egg and you raise it. So your offspring vary in lifespan before they move on and mature to their forever homes. And their drop quality, right? So they're going to be dropping different resources, and they vary in quality, of course. Okay. And then these baby animals, these offspring baby animals, whatever you want to call them, they can be placed on all land types, obviously with restrictions like industry limits. Okay. Any questions thus far on the how to get baby animal? What will dragons drop? I actually don't know. I need to go find that out. Bob is not a legacy pet. I mean, well, Bob's not a pet. Bob's a thing. Dragon, no horse. Should we just rip up this whole update to replace dragons? Dragons are so much cooler than horses. Come on. Okay. Let me see here.
I'm starting some questions.
Do baby animals go on specs too? Yes. Yes, they can. But with different limits of the amount, right? So it'll be fewer than an NFT land. Are they going to die like current system? So we don't use that word here. They move on to their forever homes, but yes. Are the eggs random? Yes, they come from, I think so. Yeah, I mean, they drop from the legacy animal. So I don't think you can feed it different. Can you feed? There are different tiers of feed potentially. I need to double check that. Let's see. Okay, I'm going to keep going. Do only legacy animals give babies? Yes. Do owners get something? There is going to be an update to surplus, but that's all I'm going to say for that. Can you get these at random? Yes, from the Legacy Pets. Okay, I'm going to keep going. Feeding and gathering. So to collect resources from your baby pets, from your animals, baby animals. Gosh, I need to like stick to one word here. You now need a gathering satchel, which you can pick up from a store. I believe the first one is purchased in coins, and then the next ones are in buoy bucks. So standard feed is now going to be created at the recycler, which was previously named the composter. So now it's called the recycler. And you'll need it to craft animal-specific feed. And then, of course, there's a special feed with the Choco sauce. Okay, this is exciting too. New industry, the potion table and alchemic forge. So the potion table has basically been overhauled, and we have a new industry, the alchemic forge, and you use it to create high tier tools and specialized potions for various industries. So like your incubative potions for your new baby animals, to hatch the eggs and whatnot. And then, of course, we have our pet potions. The recipes have changed on those too. And there are new tiers of potions, which is exciting. And then along with this enormous update, there are 155 new recipes, and there are 94 recipes that are being updated. There are a bunch of new quests, and there's a myriad of other updates, which I'm not going to leak yet. But one of those ones is that the Neon Zone milestone rewards will be sunset and replaced with stacked tasks and offers. So I wanted to give you guys a heads up on that one. So I'm going to quickly share my screen again and show you some, just a few of the art, just a little bit. So here's what I leaked earlier, and everyone thought was a pet. My bad. I understand why it looks like a pet. I kind of wish it was, because it's the cutest thing ever, but this is one of the sheep. This is a baby sheep. Also, this is not the legacy ones. Wait till you see the legacy animal art, because it's like that pig. I think okay, here's a little incubator station here. I plopped one down right there. And then, okay, so here are a couple of the baby pigs. And then here's some of the legacy pigs. I think it's the funniest thing ever. Anyways, so there's some pigs. I think I put a couple more things up here. I think the sheep. Here's one of the rainbow sheep. Look at how cute that is. And that's a baby sheep. And then this is the legacy sheep in its little like coop there. It's so cute. And then over here we have legacy ducks. So like I said, there's a cap of 300, I believe, per legacy pet. So obviously ducks, those ones will be given out over time. And here's a baby duck. And there's there's art for all of them too. So that's all I can show you for now. But let's go back over to the pig, because I think it's the funniest thing ever. And yeah, so this update, I believe, is coming Monday or Tuesday next week. It's a big one, as you can imagine. So let me pull up some of these questions. Okay. So what is needed to get offspring? So you need to go to one of the legacy animals, like this giant pig in his mud bath, feed it, and then hopefully receive an offspring egg, which you then need to hatch at the incubator just down below, and it will hatch into one of those baby animals right there. Will baby animals give same resources as legacy? I don't have the list in front of me. I do believe so, but they are the only ones that give offspring, so it's rather important. Can we mount them? No, I don't believe so, but thank you for asking, and thank you, Luke, for starring this question.
Mounts, mounts are an interesting feature eventually. I love mounts, but we don't have that in the game yet.
Okay. Let's see. All Are offspring drops included in land surplus? Yes. I'm even going to double check that. I will triple check that. Okay. These are not pets, which was my bad for creating this confusion that I did not foresee. I take responsibility. These are not pets. These are animals, like farm animals that you have on your land. Now, if you're me, I would adopt all of them as a pet, but they're not. Hold on. Maybe I should be walking around with a pet so that people can see the difference here. Oh, that's an ugly one. Sorry. I'm not in like this is a internal environment. This is not a normal. This is not production. Here is my pet, right? These ones, they just want choco sauce. That's all they care about, which is kind of like giving pet, honestly. But, you know, okay, hold on. Okay, yes, you do. You do get surplus from animals. All right. Baby animal is going to be cute. Guys, they're so cute. They're so cute, which is why I tweeted it, but whatever. It's fine. We don't need to stick on that. Okay. On the road to become Stardew Valley. I mean, we've used them as like inspiration for a long time, and we get compared to them a lot. I personally think we're actually quite different from Stardew Valley, but thank you. What date? I think Monday or Tuesday next week. And also, I did want to mention, right? We keep saying this is like one gigantic update, and this is like just one of those. I think there's going to be at least one more update that I would include in this massive update after this too, which is kind of cool. Okay. Are the animals free or do we have to buy them? So you need to get your egg. It's like a whole thing. You can't just buy it. You have to get your egg from the legacy pet. You get your incubator, create your potions from the potion. I wonder if I can place a potion table. Hold on. Oh shoot. I just don't know what it's named. That's the problem here. I don't know what it's called. Let me ask. Right. Okay. So you get your egg from your legacy pet. You go make your potions. You go to the incubator. It's kind of like how you hatch a pet, right? But you go to your incubator, hatch your baby animal, place your baby animal on your land, and collect resources from it with your gathering satchel until it matures and it pieces out. And like I said before, the pets have different rarities and different traits and different quality of resource drops, different lifespans, all of that. Okay. I love like the comments like who approved that art and then the art is great. Like I know it's ridiculous. I love it so much. I think the pig is my favorite as like a legacy one. We'll see. Okay. Okay. What are their items and the new recipe? I'm not leaking that yet. We're being high level here. Okay? You'll just have to wait and see. Okay. Okay, this is what happens, guys. The in our database, the table is named nothing similar to table or potion or what, so whatever, forget it. Okay, let me share my screen again. Oh shoot, I fully closed it. Here we go. There's the table. You're probably familiar with it. So you start with salt to create incutive potions. Incutive, incutive. I feel like I have to say it really fast so it sounds like incubate, incutive potions, and then you start with a pet treat if you want to make pet potions. So that's how you start crafting. And like I said, the pet potion recipes have changed too, so it's not the same. And I don't think it's as simple anymore. I think they developed like a bit more of an algorithm around it, so you can't just like immediately know how to max it out kind of like you used to. I think there's a more like a max it out, but there's also chance of like getting really good stuff. So it'll be more interesting. Um they do. They do. Which one it is? I have to check. I just don't know like the different ones if they're all in the same industry or if they're all different, but they do account towards industry limits. How do we get a legacy animal? So right now, the for the existing animals, they're upon launch going to stay as is, and then over time, they're like a rare high value item that will be won likely through events and stuff like that, or maybe purchasable in a store, stuff like that. How we've done it in the past. This is all assumptions I'm making. I can go ask the design team, but that's how it'll happen initially. For the new legacy pet animals, the new legacy animals, I actually don't know, and I need to ask. But honestly, probably wouldn't leak that information immediately because that creates absolute chaos. So you'll just have to wait and see next week. Okay. I've seen this comment a couple of times and I wonder if it's always been from you, but I kind of agree. We can probably move it over there. Okay. Um, okay, hold on. I saw a question here. So, what will happen to Coop and Slugs? So, those ones are converted into new animals. And you can't buy Coops, obviously. And they are still a trait and they are included in this new update. And then your second question. Oh, there you go. There you go. Legacy animals will be sold for buoy bucks apart from the Coops and Slugs. Okay, so that's important. Should I repeat that? Legacy animals will be sold for buoy bucks apart from Coop and Slugs. Coops, obviously. And then slugs are just not included there. Okay. Let me keep going through some questions here. What do the new animals eat? So, like I mentioned earlier, you need. Okay, let me try and put it here on the land. Hold up. Let me stop sharing for 2 seconds. See if I can put it here. Now, I don't think that these are actually going to go on lands. I think it's just going to remain in Terravilla, but I'll put it here just so you guys can see again what I'm talking about. So this is the composter. Now it's called the recycler. We've changed the name. We're reusing things here. And this is where you will craft food for your animals, and it's all specific to the animal. And then of course we do have the special feed, which is the choco sauce, which it's pretty straightforward, like as you would expect. Okay. Let's see. I think more silo spots for new yeah, let me ask. I know this has been a question for a while, and it's been quite a discourse, like 50-50 separator in the landowner channel over silo storage. So let me check on that. Okay. We're doing this live, guys. I'm just DMing design team as we go. Okay. I love this. Look at those gremlins. Want choco sauce. So cute. No. Only the sheep and pigs. Only sheep and pigs have choco sauce. The rest of them, it's specific, and you make it in the recycler. Sophia, thank you. Honestly, I know I keep messing up my words here. It's hard. Okay, this is an awesome way to get everyone farm animals. Yeah, it's good design. I'm excited about it. Okay. Let me triple check on that one. When is that update coming tonight? Girl, no. Probably Monday or Tuesday next week. Heidi, I still don't get it. I have a penguin pet. What will I get? Is it pet or animal? And what's the utility of these babies? And what do they do other than cuteness? So this is like a whole new game loop. And this is nothing. This is not pet. So this is my pet here, right? Oh, shoot. I opened up the wrong tab. This is my pet right here. And we did a pet update a couple weeks ago, I think. So go check out the Pixels post with that one. But we updated like some stuff according to the traits and whatnot. So it's not related. These are animals. They just chill on your land, and it's like a whole game loop, right? They give you resources, which you use in recipes across the game and game loops and like all of those sorts of things. So they're two very separate things. All right. Okay, I just bombarded designer with a few questions and they replied. So offspring is not tradable. Someone in here asked if they can give away the animal or something, and I lost it immediately. But so no, they are not tradable. They're just for you. And okay, silo storage has not been updated because no one can we can't come to a solution, really. Landowners can't agree on a solution, so we really need to come together on that one. Okay, and then animal care levels. Someone just asked, animal care levels, do they matter? And here you go. The answer is yes. The higher level you are, the higher level offspring and drops and recipes you can get, which is as expected. I just wanted to triple check there. Okay. I think we covered a lot. What about apiaries? Apiaries, there will be a maximum of 100 in the game. So those are different. Every other legacy one is 300. Apiaries is 100. I think there's like 50 or something like right now. So it's just over time, in the entire lifespan of Pixels, there will never be more than 100 there, but that's been known forever. Okay. Will we be able to get potion tables, or will it be like wineries? No, you can pick them up at the pet store. I think you can get them already, honestly. Let's see. Will the legacy animals continue to be in gachas in addition to buoy buck purchases, or will there be purchase limits? Let me triple check that one. Okay. I feel like we've covered so many questions. Let me just get Silverwing's question answered there. I feel like it's going to be a mixture, but let me double check because I'm not sure. Okay, cool. Okay, Luke, do you want to dive into anything in the last 15
Hmm.
minutes?
Yeah, so that was a lot. So yeah, as you can see, we're still releasing updates for the core game, and that's still a pretty big priority to make the core game as fun as it possibly can be. I think somebody asked the question, like, where is Luke's attention being put in? And
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
a lot of my focus over the next year is basically, how do we start to grow the gaming ecosystem in a sustainable way, right? Grow top line revenue and do all this. So when I evaluate the pieces that we have here at the Pixels ecosystem, Core Pixels is an amazing asset that we have, right? It's like a very mature game at this point, though there's still like work to do when it comes to like getting it ready for the next stage of growth and what we need to do to actually, you know, make the ecosystem and the token and everything else perform as best as possible, right? So when you think about our goals, we want, very simply to like increase ecosystem revenue month on month. How do you do that? You need games that are fun. You need games that can grow, and you need to start to grow the user base as well too, right? So, if our games that we're actually releasing are not fun, that's the first issue to address. We have to make the gameplay good. We have to continue to update it. Two, we need growth strategies. We need to figure out how to actually grow the games with the right audience that will actually monetize as well too, right? So this is why we've been focusing on Stacked and Chubkins and some of these other pieces of the ecosystem as well. One, we want to figure out how we can actually grow a game in a way that would work, standalone outside of Web3, right? Then with Chubkins, we want to see, okay, when we start to add in the Web3 components, how does this affect the growth? And the initial findings we have at Chubkins are extremely positive, actually. What we've seen is consumers are extremely responsive to rewards and to like the tenets of Web3 gaming. They don't like when you mention crypto, but they like earning, they like rewards, all of this. When we bring in rewards into the game for Chubkins, we've seen our customer acquisition cost decrease a ton. So basically, what the Web3 is doing is it makes it much easier for us to acquire new users inside of the game, which is a huge competitive advantage against Web2 games. So essentially what we're going to start to do is we're going to start to take all the lessons that we're learning with Chubkins and bring them into the core game as well. What you'll actually even start to see soon over the next month or two. So we'll actually start to move more and more of the earnings that you're seeing inside of the core game into this new offer system. We've already released a lot of new offers in the last couple of weeks. We'll try to get basically, my goal would be like 90% of earnings through this offer system rather than like current task force system in the next month or two. The ideal situation being that you actually have most of your earnings coming through Stacked rather than Core Pixels. And that'll be the way that we can start to introduce new incentives and new types of growth for existing users and new users as well. What's great about Stacked also is basically it creates a network effect. So, anytime that we have a new game, we can start showing you offers and Pixels and Chubkins and any other game inside the Pixels ecosystem, including Web2 games and including, other interesting Web3 partners that we're talking to as well. So Stacked will kind of be our growth engine that we're moving forward with. And that's the exciting part, essentially. So again, when it comes to growing the ecosystem, product has to be the first focus. How do you make games good? Growth has to be the second, right? You shouldn't grow a game or an ecosystem without a good product behind it. Core Pixels is getting there. It still has a little bit of work to do. So we have to keep updating it and make the gameplay better and better, and also figure out like incentive structures, monetization in a sustainable way, even though this is why we've been talking about ROARs and all these other metrics long run too. So yeah, that's kind of the intention there. Somebody asked about the task board. Yeah, we're still figuring exactly what we want to do there. But I think the short-term thinking is we kind of want to move a lot of the earnings that you would be getting in the task board into a similar system that lives inside of Stacked. Can you add more offers? 2 offers every 7 days is not enough. I completely agree. So this is kind of the next focus on the core game team and the focus that I'll be working on with them. Basically, for us to actually launch Stacked, Stacked is basically in a spot where it's like 98% ready to launch. Now we have to kind of focus on the last 2% of polish. And a lot of the polish would be basically getting enough stuff inside of Stacked to do. If we launch Stacked and it works and it's functional, but there's nothing inside of it, like there's no offers or no rewards, the app is useless, right? So we're working with a bunch of different partners in order to actually get Stacked offers for other games and ecosystem stuff as well. So basically, in addition to earning inside of Pixels and Chubkins, there's literally people who have games out there right now who have no idea how to give out their tokens, and not even games. There's even like Web3 protocols, ecosystems that have tokens and rewards that they want to give out, but they just don't know how to do it. Our Stacked app is a really good way for them to do it. It's a lot better than the systems that they have. So it's cool because we don't even have to like pay for these rewards from them. Like they have rewards that they want to give out, and this is a good vehicle and mechanism for them to do it. So you'll start to see some partnerships when Stack launches as well for us to do that.
Okay, I'm gonna pull up a couple questions that got asked. Okay, so yes to all. So there will be purchase limits, and so there will be pets given out in events and various ways, like not immediately either, like over time, kind of like how we've done like the winery and stuff like that. So yes. My favorite comment was, I think this is the first time ever that I was called out for yapping. And they want Luke to come back up and talk. So that's crazy. I feel kind of like honored in a way, like a weird messed up way. Okay. And then there was,
I can answer.
okay,
Are there any initiatives to get DAU on Core Pixels higher at the moment? Yeah, I mean, that's like the whole thing that we're working on right now, and like why we think we need new growth and channels and all of this, right? So someone made a little bit of a sassy comment being like, let me see if I can pull it up.
Oh, I know which one you're talking about.
They worked on all this time and their strategy is just to create TikToks. No, it's like a lot more than that.
Oh, no, I was thinking of this one. They're like, why is it?
Oh yeah,
such a big
that's
deal?
one. Yeah, in 2020, the announcement is that we're going to be on TikTok now. No, that's not the announcement. The announcement is like, one, we have a whole new growth channel that we're working on developing. There will be like a content strategy shift, but like this is literally going to be baked into Stacked as well, of like a whole UGC platform where we actually reward people for making content for particular games, right? So it's not just we're going to be on TikTok and Instagram. It's like diving more into UGC. And yeah, there's a lot of cool directions that we can take that. This is like a tangent. I don't know if anybody cares, but I'm very interested in AI UGC as well. Like for example, one of the hard parts about UGC and making a video about pixels sometimes is knowing what to make content about. Like maybe we can even help you if you give us like some information, and we can just kind of like create the content that you want and then help you post it also. That's not going to be in the MVP. We'll just kind of reward for creating specific content about different games. And we'll reward per view. That's qualified. There's anti-fraud stuff. Don't worry about that. And yeah, that's kind of the intention. So, this is the whole DAU problem. Like, how do we start to grow and expand into a new audience? This is why we're talking about this and drilling into this so much, and why we're also working on, new initiatives, like a new app that is growing with a paid advertising funnel rather than just like an organic funnel that we built with Pixels, right?
Okay. I just want to clarify here. Will Offspring grow into Legacy? No. No. They are separate. They will never grow into Legacy. They will just peace out and leave. They leave the realm completely once they mature. Okay. You guys can go and make Bob an Instagram profile if you want. Okay. We will not be making one, but go off. Go ahead.
Do you think Pixels is ready for new players to join right now? So there's still some things that we'll need to fix when we start to do, more aggressive onboarding for core Pixels. Like a lot of the work that we're doing on Chubkins, just to give you guys an insight, is like funnel optimization. So, analyzing essentially when somebody sees an ad to when they, first download the game to when they stay in and the second day they're in the game. That funnel is extremely important. Now, Pixels, the funnel isn't so great because you have to use a crypto wallet and do all this kind of stuff, right? You'll see a ton of drop off when you run a paid ad, and this is probably going to be part of the next step that we work on. There might be some bigger structural changes that we need to make to core Pixels in order to do this too, but essentially we'll probably start doing, just to see the baseline, a small paid ad campaign that kind of mocks what we're doing with Chubkins on Core Pixels to see and audit the problem, to see like what happens when we actually go out and try to acquire new users. The other part that we're going to need to fix with Pixels in the long run too is like the earnings or the ROARs compared to Chubkins as well. If you want to grow a game sustainably, ROARs bare minimum needs to be 1. So that basically ROARs is really a measurement of like the LTV of a user, basically like how much a user can monetize for the ecosystem in the long run. When we have a ROARs under 1, the LTV of a user is actually negative. That means that for every user that we bring into the game, it actually costs the ecosystem, right? Which is not what you want in the long run. If you want the token price to do well, you want the ecosystem to be able to grow and sustain itself in the long run. And this is what I mean by sustainable. I mean, how do you actually get growth? How do you get users, more users to come into the game every single month for the rest of the ecosystem's life, basically? Well, in order to do that, what you really need is you need to make money off of each user for the protocol and ecosystem and reinvest that into user growth, right? So you need some kind of margin. So ROARs has to be over 1 by a decent amount. And anytime that you have ROARs over 1, that margin that you have, that LTV of the user, is what you are able to use for user acquisition, whether that be through incentives purely, so more rewards for users if they're oriented around growth. So maybe like a referral bonus would be an easy way to understand that, or even for like investing in a new paid UA channel. Paid UA, necessary evil. Like we hope to build our own platform that kind of cuts out the middleman of paid UA through Stacked, and that's kind of a long-term vision. Or eventually, ideally, if we have Stacked become a big enough network, then you don't even need to go through particularly normal paid UA channels, but you have to grow that network. So, in order to do the growth in the beginning stages, you need to latch on to some channel, which paid UA, we have sustainable games, can make it make sense. So somebody said, Pixels used to have 100,000 users despite crypto logging. What changed? Different user group aims. So when Pixels had its peak DAU, the return on reward spend was significantly under 1. Basically, like the LTV of our users was negative. I think at peak DAU in like June 2024, we had about like 1 million daily active addresses. We were giving out about like $100,000 of rewards a day, maybe a little bit less. And I think we were doing about $50,000 to $60,000 of revenue a day, right? So, it was an unsustainable model. Our first initial goal was basically to raise the monetization per player. And we experimented a lot with different monetization models inside of Pixels. Like when we were doing live ops events, for example. The issue is, it required more experimentation than I initially thought to get the right monetization model that feels right to users. Remember things like the holiday event, the spooky events that we did. Anytime that the Pixels ecosystem was successful monetizing, it felt very bad to our users, right? Didn't feel good. By all metrics, a lot of these events were Web2 successes that hurt player trust, sentiment, and churned users anytime the ecosystem was monetizing better. Models like Chapter 3 are working a lot better when it comes to player sentiment and reward distribution. And, we weren't actually focused on user growth with rewards. Like we kind of hoped that there would be word of mouth when we did rewards. They weren't as precise or targeted as they needed to be, and they weren't completely directed into growth the best way that they could be, right? So this is kind of the next phase of building out a play there in the ecosystem. And it's already kind of working inside of Web2 in certain areas. And yeah, that's kind of that's the idea there. When it comes to onboarding and all this kind of stuff, I would agree. Reputation systems are actually not the best system. This is why I want to move more of our earnings into the Stacked platform, because we have better ways to give out rewards in a more targeted manner than reputation, because reputation is very player unfriendly. It's a good system in like a short-term pinch to kind of filter out users and require like more proof of work basically, but it's going to hurt growth anytime you have the reputation system that requires a lot of work to do.
Look who's here. And then Logic
Hey, I
was
see.
in our Discord too, talking about our new update. Exciting to see you guys.
Could you add more vPixel offers? I'm not getting a single vPixel. Yeah, so we're going to spend a little bit more time after this animal care update is out to actually go out and like really make sure the offer system is like almost one-to-one with current earnings and tweak from there. And then somebody said, make an ad already. I think Pixels is ready for new players. Don't make this scam or too good to be true. Make it more realistic. How many of you guys have seen an ad for Chubkins? It's funny because I've actually gotten some DMs. Like Wob, the founder of Sappy Seals, emailed me or like sent me a message the other day saying he saw a like Chubkins ad. And it's funny because that was when we were running a very, very small amount of paid ads. Like we were only doing like, a couple $100 a week in paid UA then. But maybe some of you have actually seen a Chubkins ad now. Yeah, we want to get the format down because basically we can take the same format that we're doing in Chubkins ads and use them for Pixels once that format's working. So like a lot of the work that we're doing here is like for the ecosystem and can be repeated.
Do you guys think we should make ads or give away another tractor?
That kind of stuff will work too. Yeah, expect more stuff like that again.
Okay, we're at time already. Is there anything else you wanted to mention?
I think that's it on my end today.
Amazing. All right, cool. Look at this, beginner. Welcome. I'm so glad to have you here. I hope you're on our Discord too and chatting with everyone. Yeah, Super Bowl ad. Yeah. All of our budget, basically, just Super Bowl ad.
Hail Mary.
All right, cool. Thank you guys for coming out today. Obviously, I yapped a lot for once and shared a bunch of stuff. So we'll see you next week with the animal care update. And yeah, I'm excited. Thank you guys. We'll see you next week.
Thanks, everyone.